Namato Ratana Tayasa. May I pay homage to triple them, the Buddha, Dhamma, and the Sangha. My respect goes to my parents and my teachers. Hello, good evening, everyone. So today is Monday, the 4th of January 2021. This is Achan Sujan from Warapunya Meditation Center, Aberdeen, Scotland. So as usual, I'm here again with you all tonight. As you may have heard, the First Minister Nicola Sturgeon has announced that there will be a stricter lockdown, and it's going to be law rather than just a suggestion or a compliment. So this is going to be really strict lockdown this time. So first of all, apologies for last night due to I was having a meeting with the Interfaith Scotland and a short reflection about New Year. So as a result of that, I was unable to give a talk yesterday, and we had different faiths from different faith communities in Aberdeen were giving some reflections about the new year. And each faith had a different experiences throughout this time, and many have faced different difficulties. And one of the difficulties that everyone shared was that the family members, those who have traveled far away from their homeland, and due to the lockdown, they're unable to travel back, and causing a lot of anxiety and difficulties. And meanwhile, there are family members who passed away and yet unable to attend those funeral services, which has caused a significantly anxiety and sadness, frustration, and so on. So this is supposed to be a new beginning and supposed to be a new start of the year, and we all have a hope that this vaccine that been produced from different companies are already on active. I hope that it will help to reduce. But anyhow, each and every country has got this virus spreading so rapidly, and every countries are trying to establish different measures to control the spread of the virus. And similarly, here in Aberdeen, in Scotland, today, this afternoon, First Minister has announced that the new measures will be as a law, and which probably will be passed in a couple of days by the Scottish Parliament. So it's become a more stricter rules in order to take control over this virus, which is spreading so vastly, so fast, affecting. First lockdown may not be that scary, but this lockdown can be very scary, because this time everyone, we do not know who has got and who hasn't got it, and it's quite a bit of a scary time for all of us. So good evening, Yvonne. Good evening, Manish. Good evening, Margaret, Vidya, and everyone, those who are listening far and wide. Yeah, and it's been quite a while that I haven't answered any questions because no one asks me, no one asked. So if there are any questions regarding Buddhism, Buddhist meditation, your practice, your any difficulties in the practice, or any progress in the practice, if you want to share, then again, just text me or ask a question, or just a post, and then if possible, then I will answer on the same night, or I will answer on following nights. So this is a tentative plan, and just to let you know that initially I was planning to stop giving talks every night and will come with a few nights a week, and will focus on Buddhist teachings mainly. But somehow, because of this new lockdown again, and it's like I felt like, okay, it's not the right time to stop giving talks, and it would not be a right time to select only once a week. But I will be here, and will try to speak in different topics, and also different understanding and my own experiences over the following days. So that's why, if there is any questions that anyone would like me to answer, then again, please text me so that I know what is going on, and then I can answer to you. Okay. So, and with that, it's been a couple of days or a week, if not a week, if not a few days, that I left telling the stories from the life of the Buddha, and how the first two chief disciples came into the Buddha. And if you've been following, then you probably will remember that Venerable Moggallana and Sariputta were the two friends who gave up their family life, and hoping to gain the higher knowledge. And so they went to one of the contemporary, very famous teacher known as Sanjaya, and after studying with him, they found that it is not the complete. So they had a agreement between two friends that whoever finds the true knowledge, then they should come back and inform. And with that, Venerable Sariputta, he met the Asaji and heard the teachings. Having heard the teachings, he became a Sotapanna, or arose the Dhamma eye, and came back to speak with his friend Moggallana, and asked permission, and even encouraged their teacher Sanjaya to join and to go and see the Buddha. But the master simply said, and that what do you think between wise ones and foolish one, or ignorant one? Who do you think more in the world between wise ones and ignorance? And Sariputta answered, saying that obviously, their master, in the world there are more ignorance, people with less knowledge or a misunderstanding, or it's called avijja, the ignorance, than those who are wise ones. So then when the Master Sanjaya said, and that okay, so you go to the wise one, who was the Buddha, I will stay with the ignorant ones. And that's how he stayed in his own institution. And having seen his old students left him, and his desire to go to see the Buddha as well, but because of his pride, he couldn't leave his institute. And I was mentioning that they do not let your pride stop learning new things. And this is quite interesting. I've been reflecting on that sometimes as well. That as a being a Buddhist monk, this uniform actually kind of a barrier that going into the different um, religious organizations or different teachers and learn and learn new things. Whereas as a householder, like you guys, everyone, those who are living in a house, and if you are really interested to learn new things from different faiths and different religion or different teachers, there is no obligation that you should be a Buddhist, or you should be a Theravadin Buddhist, or you should be a Mahayana Buddhist, like that. So as a lay person, you can go and learn from every sectors, every religions, and every schools of Buddhism. Whereas as being a monk, sometimes it's quite a tricky that like being a Theravadin monk. Suppose if I'm going to um, any other masters, and then there is a form of uh, um, little difficulties or perception of the master or the people will be different. So that's why this is kind of a barrier for a Buddhist monk as well. But no, but I try not to have that, and I try to break it these boundaries. But somehow, because of the traditions and the culture, stops me doing it. I remember last year Christmas time, not a New Year, last year's New Year celebration, and I was attending this interfaith reflection day, and we had a reflection together. Around probably around 8 or 9 people were there from different faiths, and explain again, and giving a reflections and readings about some form of a peace, yeah, a message on a peace and a harmony and something like that. And after the meeting and reflection ended, we had a photo for the memory, and I also took a picture. At first, I was taking a picture, and the second, I went and joined the picture, but there wasn't any chairs left. So there were a few people sitting on a chair, some people were standing at the back, and I also joined, and I was sitting on a floor. And little did I know, I do realize that time that should I sit on a floor or should I stand up, and like that. But because the space sitting was more open than standing, I chose to sit. And I did have some conflict with my feelings at that time. But however, I told myself at that time that it's okay, you know. And so I sat and took a picture. And after I have taken a picture, I posted on Facebook saying that we had this interfaith reflection, and so, and it was lovely, and all the reflections were so great, um, and like that. And uh, the people from other parts, those who are real Buddhists, and are sending me messages saying that, oh, Achan, you shouldn't be sitting on a floor. Yeah? You are a venerated one. Everyone respects you, and how you sat on the floor. And if you don't have a seat, you better stand up, not sitting below than the householders. Um, so, and a few people even text me saying that delete that picture, and it's not a good one. So with that, then finally I had to delete that picture away from my Facebook. So like that, yeah. So sometimes we have these, and as a Buddhist monk, there is a boundaries that things can do and things can't do. And if you do, then there will be a consequences. And if you don't, and if you are like doing it, then people will be questioning like that. Similarly, there was a big issue a couple of years ago that monks were visiting Man United stadium in Manchester. As you may know that the football, particularly Man United, was very famous in Thailand. And it happened that the monks were visiting on a visit to England from Thailand, and then they wanted to visit the stadium. So they went, and it was a sunny day. So the people, those who invited Venerable monks to go and have a visit the stadium, and so after finished, they were having ice cream outside of the stadium, and somehow some people took a picture and uh, put it on a social media, and a few words saying that how on earth the Buddhist monks are watching this football game in the Man United stadium and having ice cream, like living like the householder's life. If they are enjoying in that way, why they should become a monk, so and so. And this picture became so viral that even went into the Thai national television. And finally, the monks here in the UK had to write formal letters and also signatures from members of the community in Manchester and submitted to Thailand and Thai government. And it was cured that this wasn't the right, it wasn't the true what was written on Facebook or on a social media, but that was completely two different stories, and then so and so. But that effect, that the viral picture affected this venerable monk, and out of shame, and he, despite being such a wonderful monk and very active in the community in his village, was working for the community, finally he disrobed, and which is a sad news. So that things happens, and this is because of the culture and the pride and something like that. So that's why, as a householder, you have a lot of opportunities, and a lot of opportunities to go and learn from different masters, and even uh, going into the retreats, uh, in any form of a retreat that you can join. Whereas as a Buddhist monk, there is a limitation of which, where and how, form of, like, there is some form of etiquette that we have to follow. So that's why, although sometimes I do want to go and I can't, and this is like not my pride that I don't want to, but because of this, the uniform that I have. Although, despite of that, I have been a little bit of a little bad monk, because I wear these clothes, jackets on, and having a social media, and have driving and like that, being really bad already, and then So like that. But again, I always look for someone who who can lead us or teach me new things and teach me and guide me, and particularly on a meditation, obviously. And I would like to go and join the retreats and so and so. And that's how we should be getting, because one of the teachings that the Buddha told that in order to get the progress or growth in our what would I say in our life, we have to have a certain virtues that we have to follow, and if we have those certain virtues, and then definitely there is progress in our life. And those virtues are quite interesting topics that the Buddha talked in one of the teachings, like the factors for the prosperity or the growth. And these factors of the prosperity or the growth is known as like the teachings that brings the growth or the development in us, and there are four qualities that we have to have. The first one is to associate with the highly virtuous people, or known as the sapurisha. And here, Sapurisa basically means a person who has got the good conduct, and who is following a moral life and ethical livings. Not only he lives in accordance with the moral life, but he also generally guide his friends or his family members to live a moral life or live a good life, morally and ethically. Not only a guide his friends or his family members to follow a good example, but also will be sharing and being a generous and helping out in a different ways whenever needed. In the meanwhile, not only helping with the materials, or not only helping with the financial, but also sometimes when danger arises at that time, he's there to protect you and to guard you. And that's sort of a first quality or the factor that we have to have in order to get the growth. Otherwise, if we are not having such a relationship or association with the sorry, association with the wise ones, then we would not be able to improve our understanding. So that's why I always take everyone as my teacher. Like Chu, the Chinese philosopher, said that even a small children, then they can teach us a lot. So like that. And the second one is listening attentively. And this listening attentively is again very, very important. Whatever someone who is wise or someone who we trust is telling us or instructing us or guiding us, we need to listen attentively. Undivided attention is there, and then absorbing what is being said. And so that's how we will acquire knowledge, and we will acquire some guidance to get on with the new forms and new knowledge. But the third factor that Buddha mentioned, which is quite interesting, and that is basically having a reflective, analytical, or reflecting and thinking about the whatever said, and you have been hearing and you have heard, you have listened. So you are not taking it as the true fact. Although we know that the person who is saying is right, although we know that the person who is teaching is saying truth, and all the teachings, that is true. But again, we always need to have wise consideration that and analyzing it and carefully reflecting upon what's been taught. And this is quite an important one. That's why Buddha's teachings is not about come and believe, it is about come and see. Didn't say that come and believe me. That's simply um, is the common they come and see rather than come and believe. And the last factor, I would say, the very important one is that whatever you have heard, whatever the wise one has given you information and you have analyzed it, and after you have analyzed and the outcome of that analysis, you are going into the practical way. So you are practically using it in order to get the gain from that knowledge. So that is the teachings of the Buddha for the increase and the growth, and which we all have to have these factors. Sometimes we may have all factors, other times it may not be, but again, always and has to have this desire to search for this knowledge and desire to search for the truth. And it is not just searching the truth, it is the application of the knowledge or application of the information that you have attained. And that is important. And that's called a Dhamma Patipatti. So all the information or the advice that you have analyzed it and come to conclusion, not just a conclusion and end it, but you have to apply in your day-to-day life. And with that application, then that brings the success and prosperity and increase or develop in your practice. So that's why when I look at this the Venerable Sariputta and Moggallana and his teacher Sanjaya, I always reflect that, am I holding this pride? Am I holding that I know? Am I holding that I am a knowledgeable one and blocking to learn new things from other people? Always good to check ourselves and always look for opportunities to learn and go and learn new things. So as a householder, you have a lot of opportunities to wander around like a shopping in the Tesco's, or just go into the Union Square and you can shop and pick whatever you like and drop whatever you dislike. So nowadays it's like a shopping mall about even the meditation. Hundreds of meditation teachers out there, hundreds of teachers are teaching on Buddhism, on any other topics. So you can join them and learn, and whichever you like, take it, and whichever you benefit, you can take on board. So you have an opportunity, go and grab it. So I end here for tonight's reflection. Thank you everyone for listening, and may you all be well and happy. May the Buddha Dhamma Sangha bless you. In a few moments time, we're going to have evening chanting and guided meditation. You're most welcome to join with us. Until then, good night and see you shortly. Thank you. Satu.